I just made that up. I don't know if you call yourself that, is in a room together celebrating what they have accomplished. They have accomplished a lot, and we're going to... Oh, you don't need to make me louder, I don't think. They have accomplished a lot. So we're going to do an official toast to kick it off, and then Phil's going to actually be the one who leads us through how a live podcast goes, because I don't know what that means. So we're all going to raise our glasses of whatever we have. If you're a child without a glass, just raise your hands. This is where you get to be as rowdy in public as you want. I celebrate that. And we're going to say, we are all a part of the Rising. That is what the fan club will be called. You are all official risers. The Rising. We're going to say thank you for starting a Pro-Am women's club that is going to kick ass. That's the only time I will say a bad word, I promise, Phil.
Yeah.
That's going to elevate all of soccer, because strong women elevate everything. So thank you. We celebrate you. Everybody here loves and celebrates you. So we want to say cheers to kicking off Austin Rise FC.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
You got to actually drink the drink for the cheers. Cheers, ladies. All right, if you're in the room and you're under 10 and you want to yell, yell. Thank you, Paul. Under 10 at heart.
Yeah.
All right, Phil, it's yours.
All right, so welcome everybody. Obviously what we're here to do today is celebrate Austin Rise FC, and over at the Striker, which is the site that I run, along with Roberto Silva, our executive director behind the camera right now. Over the past week, we've just had the opportunity to meet 6 of the founders who are here before you today. So they did some first-person essays for us, and we got those up throughout the week. If you go to the homepage and just click on that headline, you'll be able to see all those linked one by one and follow along and all that. But this is just a chance to do a little bit of talk back, a little bit of a conversation, just kind of a casual Sunday get-together here before, of course, we watch the U.S. Very possibly beat Japan here in the As She Believes Cup. Going on with that. So Alyssa Zeminski is a person who has been kind of corralling the rest of the group, getting them together for all this. So thanks to you for your work. And then I think what we should do is just let everybody say a few quick words, and then let everybody just kind of give brief introductions to not only who they are, but what they wrote about for us in the Striker, to introduce themselves and their life stories and how they came to join Austin Rise FC.
That was a lot. All right. My name's Alyssa Zeminski. I did not introduce myself earlier. I apologize. I am the president of the Austin Co-ed Soccer Association. I have been president on and off for almost 9 years over the last 17 years. And I love soccer. I think that's like an understatement, right? Like, I say I love soccer. I love this beer. I love all of you. I mean, like, there's love. And I didn't get my article in on time because I'm terrible at deadlines. So I apologize, Roberto and Phil, for that.
You didn't have to say that.
All right, my bad. Soccer, and I had an argument with a friend, soccer is like my religion. And I say that with all the respect in the world to folks who follow a more traditional religion. But it has transcendental worth, right? You play soccer, it changes you. Whether physically, mentally, spiritually, like everyone who plays, and especially these 6 amazing women on the stage, know it just makes you better. It just makes you better. It makes the community better. It makes you enjoy your life better. It just all around has transcendental worth. That was like the one thing that my friend said religion has to have. Religion also have to have a lot of written doctrine, which I'll promise you, soccer has a lot of written doctrine. So in my world, that is what it is. So I'm kind of obsessed with soccer. I am also obsessed with making sure women have a space. Right? Because in the history of the world, we do not give women thoughtful, equal, strong space. That is just what's happened. So supporting women's sports specifically, you can applause for that. We are here supporting women's soccer. So I find no more joy in the world than being able to support strong women doing something they love, doing it powerfully, and changing the landscape, which is what this will do. I am too old to play, so my role in all of this, I mean, to play at that level, I play co-ed every weekend. It's funny to watch. You should come out and watch it sometime. My role in this is just to be here for whatever they need, to support them. Sometimes it's just to cheerlead for them. Sometimes it's to buy something. Whatever it is that is going to help them on this journey to doing what I know they're going to do. That is what the Co-Ed League is here for. So I'm very excited to be here. That is why I love soccer, and why I'm so excited to have a room full of people who are here to support them. There's not enough people in this room. So I'm going to give this challenge to you now before everyone has a couple too many drinks and forgets what I say at the end. Your challenge is to invite everyone you know to celebrate them the way that we are, because we don't want them to fall to the wayside like so many other semi-pro and pro women's clubs in this town have, right? So your challenge is to hear them, you get excited about them, you're going to be inspired by them, and then hopefully what we do is get more and more people to come out and support them, because that's what's going to make them successful. They could be the best soccer players in the world. If they do not have the same support that men's sports garner, that's not going to help them. So that is our job. Can everyone agree verbally, I'm going to remember who did not verbally agree with us, that we are going to do our best to support this club? All right, thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Bethany to introduce herself.
Great. Hi, everyone. I'm Bethany Kurtmas Duvall, and my soccer life started when I was 4. And I've just always loved sports, not just soccer, but I grew up playing soccer, basketball, golf, hockey, football, baseball, cross country, and more. And then fast forward a bit, I went to school at University of Wisconsin-Madison. I got a degree in finance. I worked in banking for the last 10 years as a financial analyst. And about 5 years ago, I was playing soccer in Chicago. I did a lot of pickup, but like as high competitive as you could. And I had a number of people say, hey, like you should play semi-pro. I'm like, what? What is that? I just didn't know that this whole world existed. I'm also a trans athlete, so I had started my hormone replacement therapy over 6 years ago. And then when I learned about the whole world of semi-pro, I started training, moved down to be with my now wife, who's here celebrating this great day with us. And so yeah, 2019 was the first chance I got to play semi-pro soccer, and it was here in Austin. Then I had a wonderful experience going to play in Spain in the 3rd division, which is also semi-pro there. Absolutely fabulous. Unfortunately, there was this global pandemic that came up, so I came home and have been playing with all these fine ladies since. And then last season just had a bit of an unfortunate ending, and we've all known each other for quite some time, played together, and wanted to make sure that we had a great place for women to play soccer and to bring the highest level of players that you could have. And the last thing about my journey was that when I decided to go and train for semi-pro, is there was 2 things that I really wanted. One, like Alyssa said, is to push yourself to be the best person and to be the best athlete that I could be. And the second was that as a trans athlete, there are not a lot of us out there, and there's not a lot of information actually. So I was okay being a bit more out with my experience so that people could learn and see and hopefully understand. Mm-hmm. And with that, I'm going to pass it to our coach, Lessa.
I don't know how I'm going to handle talking that good after B. So if you don't know me, I'm Cristiane Lessa, Coach Lessa. That's how people know me. I don't enjoy so much talking on the microphone, even though I've coached all over the world. I spoke on TV. I've been in pre-talks, post-game talks, but it's always uncomfortable for me, so I apologize in advance. I was born in Brazil, and I came to the US with a dream to play soccer in a country that supports the sport. In 1999, it was a battle. You can just Google my name. It's such a long story, but I'm going to try to go as short as possible. So I came to the US, and right away I was coaching. I didn't realize I was going to be a coach. I never knew that was my passion, but I was always coaching. Since 2001, I coached boys high school at 18 years old. Then I got a scholarship. I played college. I was already coaching club. Then after I coached club, I played pro in Iceland. At that time, pro was semi-pro now. So it was a great opportunity, but I was missing something. I realized that I didn't want to be a professional soccer player because I did have to pay bills and I wanted to be more influencing on the game. I wanted to influence more the game. So I started coaching college. Then right away, I have so many dreams that I don't stop. And when I actually achieved my ultimate dream, which was coaching the national team of China, the U16, then coaching a professional team in Norway, then coaching the NWSL as an assistant coach, then going through a situation where my boss got fired, I had to be the interim coach. I'm coaching against my former teammate, Marta, in Orlando, Pack Stadium, and I'm realizing, okay, cool, go accomplish. And when I finally went to Brazil, because I wanted to give it back to Brazil, because they gave me a passion. Brazil, until I was 18 years old, gave me the love for the game. Every TV, everybody's talking about, except for women. We were not allowed to talk too much, because if you're not, there was a lot of things that we couldn't do. So then I was in Brazil in the Santos, where Pelé played, Neymar played. I was the best of the best. I was getting paid okay for Brazilian money. And I realized something was missing again. Then I came back to the US. I took a break from soccer for 6 months, and I couldn't. As soon as I saw a post about a job here last year, I had a dream. I had a dream like, okay, with all this experience that I've got, how can I help the women's game? What else can I do? So when I came here, it came with this goal, and I never would imagine that we would be here. But like I put on my bio, is that how you call? What do you call? Information, resume. I put on that as soon as I saw them, we connected right away. My translator.
For the dogs in the audience, yeah.
So as soon as we connected right away, and we had this dream to do a team for our own, because we wanted to make sure that we gave this opportunity to other female athletes, female soccer players, or coaches, or whoever wanted to be involved and make each other better humans. That's one of the biggest things. But my main worry was that when I played for the WPSL back in the day, 2008, there was no women's professional team here in the US, professional league, sorry. That was the league. This is the oldest league in America. And I was so worried, oh my gosh, how are we going to be able to help these girls after they go out of college? What if they don't want to go out of the country? Can we build something so they can stay here? And I want to help with them, to help them achieve their goals and dreams. That's my role as a coach. Of course, I'm going to assist them whatever I can. But my dream, my goal, is to be doing exactly what we're doing right now and hopefully help female soccer players that want to go overseas or want to stay here. Hopefully they have a home for a long time. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Let's get this going.
My name is Erin Webb, and before I get into my story and everything, I just want everyone in the audience, give yourselves a round of applause for supporting us, helping us, and everything. Literally my whole entire family is here. So as I'm telling the story, they already know the whole entire thing. So only maybe this part of the room is gonna be like, oh, this is interesting and new. But when I wrote my article, when I was first writing it, I was just kind of giving biography of myself. And when I was writing it, a lot of it came kind of post soccer of what I wanted to do. When I was growing up in Colorado, I did play for a top club, and then I went to the University of Missouri, and that was a lot of fun, and I met some great people there as well. But it was kind of after soccer that I was trying to kind of figure out what I wanted to do with my life and what my purpose was. And I think a lot of ex-athletes in general have that feeling of the identity crisis of not knowing what they're gonna do. They don't have fans cheering for them every weekend, so it's hard to just kind of graduate and not really know what to do and everything. So for a while, I wanted to stay in sports, and I applied for all these jobs and internships. I was in South Carolina for a while with my parents, and you can ask my mom and dad, Was I kind of a brat? Yes. Was I kind of moping around? Yeah. Was I always just, sad all the time? It's because I just was, trying to find a job, trying to find something that I wanted to do. And then, I decided, I was thinking about, do I want to go play pro? Do I want to, go to law school? Do I want to do all these things? And so, I kind of took a step back from, wanting to stay in sports. And I got a job in tech, which, moved me, to Austin. And at the time, I was just, playing co-ed. I was playing pickup. And when I was at Zilker, one of my friends that I grew up with, she was there and, kind of told me to go play for, our previous team. And that's, where I got my, competitive edge back and everything. And after all that stuff happened and when we started this, this was a great opportunity for me to, get back into something that I love. And, for me, I am the youngest out of the group, so I don't want to say, oh, I'm getting old now, but I'm the youngest in the group. But I did take a break from, playing soccer when I was thinking about potentially going to play pro and stuff like that. People said, well, you took, 2 years off from playing, and now it's been a while since you played and stuff. So what I really am passionate about and want to help is, if there's any player that has gone and went corporate or did something else for a little bit and, they still got it. They just need a place to play to, get back into it. Like, I want this to be the place. Doesn't matter how old you are, how far out you've been. Just if you have the passion and want to work hard, like, this is a place for you to be. So that's kind of why I'm doing this and stuff. And again, I just want to thank everyone for their support, family, friends, and everything. It really means a lot to me, and this means a lot to me as well. So.
Hey everyone, I'm Katie Reed, one of the founders. I also just want to take a moment to say thank you for being here. It means the world to us, and we love you for it, and we hope to see this crowd grow, as Alyssa mentioned, and can't wait to kick off the season in May. Hope to see you all there. My soccer journey started when I was 5. I grew up in a household of 6, have 3 siblings, 2 older, 1 younger, and I think mostly getting us into sports and activities was my parents' way of getting us off their hands, because it was just chaos all the time. So yeah, started with soccer and started doing a bunch of different sports, but I would say growing up, soccer and basketball were kind of my main things that I focus on, with actually basketball being the thing that was my primary sport. But there was something special in my heart with soccer where it never left. From age 5 till now, it was just always there, even though I had a different focus for most of my youth. And I remember even watching the '99 World Cup and how crazy that all was. And I don't even remember how we watched those games live. It was so hard to find women's soccer back in the day. And for the championship game, I was actually camping with my family, but where we were, they had newspapers every day for some reason. And I remember the championship game was on and I couldn't watch it, which I was obviously pissed about as a 9-year-old. And the next day came along and the front page came in and it was Brandi Chastain with her jersey ripped off. Everyone knows that iconic moment. And I was just wow. I think my mic just spit. It was incredible. Thank you. Amazing teammate. And I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And that's kind of what soccer's always been for me, is this really amazing thing where amazing moments can happen. And from then on, it was just that was always going to be in my life no matter what. And my mom and I would wake up at 2 in the morning to watch a soccer game that was happening halfway across the world. So fast forward to the end of high school, I got very burned out on basketball, which honestly is a blessing in disguise, and kind of took that moment to step away from that and reconnect with my other love, which was soccer. So I went to school in Southern California at USC, and they had a club team, and I was cool, I want to play soccer, but I don't want the commitment of a D1 team because I'm trying to focus on something else right now. And so I joined that team, and it was amazing, great group of girls. We would practice 2-3 times a week and had games on the weekend, but it was highly competitive, so it's that right balance for me. And just instantly, all those feelings that I had as a 9-year-old just came back. Just this is the coolest thing. It brings so much fire and passion for me. This is what I want to be doing. Of course, that's simpler said than done. I don't know if anyone really follows how the women's soccer pyramid works, but like it's not really a pyramid, and path to pro is very difficult. You either are getting drafted out of college or you're pretty much not playing pro. And for me, as someone playing on a club team, I was never going to get drafted. And also when I graduated, it wasn't really like a path that I considered, because I felt, you know, my parents sacrificed a lot for me to go to college, for my 3 siblings to go to college, and I'm going to go focus on a normal job, so to speak. And that's what I did. Graduated with biology degree. I am not anywhere close to doing science today, but when I first graduated, I was a scientist, and then like quickly realized that is not for me whatsoever. And somewhere along the way, found project management. So I'm actually a professional project manager now. Shout out to my team in the back. Woo! And while I do love my career, I really do, Vanessa. I love soccer more, and I found that no matter what, I just kept getting dragged back into it. It was like the thing I thought about all the time, the thing that I wanted to do, and like after work, it was like, let's go play pickup on the weekends, let's go play in Austin Co-ed. Like, it just was the thing that got me fired up like nothing else. So in 2021, I found Elite, which is our former team, and it was a great fit because semi-pro, got to play at a really high level with all women, and you know, even had this taste of like, you know, what can I do? How far can I push myself? And then of course in 2022 we got Lessa as a coach, which was incredible because we didn't have a coach in 2021 or ever before that. And the girls are laughing because like it was, as you can imagine. So it was cool because like we went to top of our conference last year, 5th in the nation, well on our way to a national championship. So when the team dissolved, it was incredibly disappointing, and obviously that left us without a team to play on here in Austin, and just not cool for a lot of reasons. And so putting this team together with these other women has been amazing. And like everyone else has already iterated, I'm sure you'll hear again, like we're just so excited to bring a space for women and for the Austin community, and to really like elevate the game, elevate women, and just do things different and do things in a positive way, and be that space where like a player can feel at home and play really great semi-pro soccer if that's a level they want to play at, or if they have a dream of going pro, then like amazing, we're going to find a way to get you there, and we're going to find a way to elevate you. But either way, like this is going to be a stepping stone. So that's me.
My name's Amanda. Hello? No. I'll just use this one. My name's Amanda. My soccer journey started when I was 3. Apparently I was a super active kid, and my parents were like, we're going to put you in as many sports as we can and kind of just figure out what your little, I guess, what I wanted to do. I did soccer, basketball, flag football, track and field, cross country, swimming, all the things that you put all your kids into. And then soccer is kind of the one thing that stuck. I played club soccer in Southern California. And then I got recruited to go play D1 soccer at Texas, and that's kind of what brought me to Austin. And I played all 4 years there. I was a forward, and then my last year I was an outside back, and that's kind of where I've stayed since then. But my soccer journey, you know, it's kind of the same as theirs. You know, I had a dream that, you know, I wanted to go play professionally. I wanted to go overseas and play. I unfortunately tore my ACL my senior year in college, halfway through the year. So my senior year I played half of the games, and then I just, you know, I watched the last half. I had plans of going. I was born in South Korea and I was adopted, so I was gonna go play back in South Korea. But after I tore my ACL, I had a rough recovery. I had 2 failed surgeries, so I've had a total of 4 knee surgery, a lot of knee surgeries. And so that kind of derailed my plan. It was, I guess you can call it a blessing in disguise. I ended up getting my master's degree in autism and developmental disabilities, so I work with kids with special needs right now. But soccer is just something that I've always loved, and even at work, like I have a soccer ball at work and I play with my kids. I, enjoy playing, and it's kind of like the stress relief that I get when I play. I joined our prior club kind of around the same time, maybe a little bit after Bethany. But, that was really the first taste of semi-pro soccer that I ever got. And it was relatively competitive. And as Katie said, we didn't have a coach last year. And so I got asked to help out with I got voluntold, yes, to help out with practices, help with lineups, and that was kind of a new responsibility for me. It wasn't, I'm more of a quiet, reserved, I don't like to yell very often.
Wait, for context, Amanda was our captain, and she very much was a leader that was like lead by example. So when she was like thrown into like be the loud person, she was like, what?
But I definitely had help from my teammates. Like I think they all knew that I was a much more lead by example. Like I'm gonna put in the work, I'm gonna put in the effort. If y'all had concerns, like I was there, I was gonna help problem solve. But I wasn't the one yelling on the field. I wasn't gonna be the loudest. And then last year, when Lessa came, that was kind of like, a weight off my shoulders. Like, okay, I don't have to plan practices. I don't have to help with X, Y, and Z. But when our former team kind of dissolved, we all knew that we played a part in that, and we wanted to make sure that there was still an opportunity for female soccer players to come out and play. We wanted to make sure that there was a competitive, fun, exciting, just level of soccer that anyone and everyone could play in. So that's kind of how Austin Rise, came about. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rochelle D'Amico. Like pretty much everyone else on here, I started playing soccer when I was 4. I grew up on Vancouver Island in British Columbia, and it is small, and the closest select team would have been an hour and a half, 2-hour drive. So my parents were like, that's a no. So I played rec soccer until pretty much high school when we moved to the suburbs of Vancouver. So I've kind of always been maybe the late bloomer, you could say. So I made my first select team when I was a junior in high school, which made it hard to get scholarships in the middle of nowhere. So I ended up getting a scholarship to Cardinal Stretch University in Milwaukee. I played NAI for 4 years, got to be the captain, played every minute of every game. So I'm really thankful to at least get to play rather than go to school and sit on the bench for 4 years. But I'm sure like many the dream is to get to college, and then when that last few seconds is running down the clock and it's over, it's just like this gut punch of like knowing I'm never going to play at that level again. So I moved back home after that ended, and you go from playing soccer 7 days a week, 6 days a week, and I'm placed into just a women's open league. And so you can imagine like a college athlete, and then you show up and it's like, funny now because I'm a mom of almost 3, but you show up and you're like, moms, like what? Like, why am I here? Like, can you even run? Like, what is happening? So it's just like such a mind, like you go from 6 days a week of training to just, this is my new life now. Like, this is what I play, I guess. So I didn't even know semi-pro was a thing. I just assumed this was my life as a 21-year-old athlete now. So when we bounced around, I have 2 young boys and a girl on the way. But we ended up in Austin about 3 years ago. And I was playing in Round Rock Women's Soccer League with Becca, who is working at Hopsquad, actually. Go Becca. So we were playing, and I heard someone said, why don't you try out for Elite? So I'm like, I just had a kid 5 months ago. Like, oh, I'm not playing semi-pro soccer. But I ended up coming out to a couple of practices that Amanda was leading. So I started playing with them, and I was like, I didn't even know this place existed, of this semi-pro world, of how this mom that played NAI soccer was playing center back with a D1 athlete at Texas. So it's just this really special place that it doesn't matter how old you are, what your backstory is, where you played college. It's just, you just come together. Like, we're playing against girls that were 16, and Amanda and I were like, oh my gosh, I could be your mom. So it's just a really cool space that not a lot of people, like, we're in women's soccer, and I still didn't know this existed. So if we don't even know it existed, how is the rest of the world supposed to know it even exists? So that's kind of what drove me to be on this team and creating a space. And my passion's really grassroots soccer. I have some of my Pflugerville girls here I coach. Yay! So I coach three girls teams, so that's my passion, is grassroots girls. But if my goal for them is to get to college, then I'm not doing them any services if it ends at college. So that's why I'm part of this group, just to create a lifelong space for women to play soccer, no matter what age they are or ability. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah. All right. Which is great, because that segues perfectly into the first question I had. One of my favorite phrases in all of your essays that came over my desk over the last week plus here was from Aaron, talking about Austin Rise FC and envisioning that as a place for players who still got it. So Aaron, I want to start with you, and then just anybody else who wants to jump in. What does that mean to you, that kind of idea of still having it? What is that recognition about, and how does it translate to this level of soccer?
Yeah, well, for me, it's just, I don't know, when you just live your day-to-day and you just look yourself in the mirror and you're like, you don't have the opportunity anymore. You kind of have to just, go to work, wake up and do all that stuff. And for me, it's just realizing that, if you have a place to still follow your dreams and do things, that you actually can still do it. And if you have teammates and coaches and a place where you can do that, then, the opportunity is limitless. And one thing that I am really passionate about is just being different than all the things that have been, done in the past and everything like that. So that's why I really care about people that still got it. They just have to have a place to do that. And hopefully people can, when they read about us or see videos of us, that they're in that same boat of like, you know what? If I just go out there and just give it a try, I might actually still be able to do this. And that's not just with soccer. That's with anything in life. Anything you want to do or accomplish or do anything, you still got it. You can do it. You just need a place to do it. And that's just what I want to do too, is just from soccer, but with everything in life. If you were just, on your phone and just scrolling through, you see somebody doing something and then you just think, oh yeah, you know what, that's me too. I can do that. So that's kind of what I think about when I was saying, you still got it. Maybe I'll get that tattooed on me or something.
Mom doesn't look happy about that.
I know.
That'll be one of our next shirts in our next merch run.
Yeah.
Do you still got it?
Yeah.
I do want to speak to that question as a good one, because something about women athletes that maybe you all know is women athletes are so humble. And they don't go around shouting, I'm a semi-pro lady athlete. I'm awesome at soccer. I kick ass. I've played soccer for over a year with 3 of the women on this stage. And it took like 6 months for me to figure out that they played on a semi-pro women's team. And I joke, I'm like soccer Vecna. Soccer happens anywhere. I feel it and I know it's happened. And this one I didn't feel, right? Like I didn't understand it was happening. And I was like, how in the world, Amanda especially, because we played for like a year on a D2 team together. And I didn't know until I went to a game and saw her playing and went, oh my God, that's my teammate Amanda. What is she doing out there? Same thing happened with Katie, right? And I just love that there is that humbleness there. But what I want to ask you to do, because like you still got it, right? Like it is okay. Women are taught that it's not okay to like be confident and celebrate yourself. It is okay to shout about how awesome you are. And I just want you to hear that with all of these people in the room, that you're all incredible athletes and you all are doing incredible things. And it wasn't until that I accidentally stumbled upon it that I didn't even know how incredible, right? So the job of Austin Rise and all of us rising is to help make sure that they understand their confidence doesn't have to be overshadowed because they are female athletes. They are allowed to shout that from the rooftops, right? Woo. The other thing I just want you to do real quick, if you've played in the co-ed league, raise your hand. Yeah.
Not
so
yet.
Well, I mean, you got here kind of late in the game, but you're invited always. And Rachelle, you're pregnant. Come back in May. The month after you have the baby, you're welcome back. That is why we're so supportive. Like, they play at every level. They're not too important or too good or too cool to come out and have a good time. Katie played in a D5 game with our friends who were here, and you could see her being like, I'm chill, I'm having a great time, I'm not going to... And then it's like, oh, there's a juicy moment for a sweet pass around to myself and get it. But they can do that because they're amazing, and they're able to play with people with where they're at. So I just wanted to say, you got it. You can tell us you got it. You can celebrate that you got it, and we're here to help celebrate that for you.
Okay, and yeah, just a little bit for anybody who wants to grab this. Just give us an idea of kind of what level of soccer we're talking about here, like how this tests you as players, how this tests you as athletes. Because obviously, y'all played together last year, so you have some familiarity with the league, but this is obviously a new brand, a new vision, kind of a new direction. I guess, Bethany, do you want to start?
Sure. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I mean, in terms of like quality of play, we had a phenomenal team last year. We are officially undefeated with Coach Lessa as our coach. So we're looking to extend that streak. And she brought a vision for us last year to win a national championship, and we fought all season to make that happen. And unfortunately, we didn't get the chance at the end, but here we are today. Celebrating this great moment with all of you. I actually didn't play in university, so it's hard for me to say the level comparative to that. Amanda can probably chime in. I ran like club cross country and did a bunch of intramural and pickup at university. But I mean, it's definitely pretty high skill level. And yeah, sure, there's always going to be a team or two in the league that maybe don't have as big of a player pool and are maybe a bit less. But we have incredibly competitive games. I mean, almost every game against the top two teams in our division, it's a one-goal game. So it's intense to the very last moment. I know, Aaron or Amanda, you have experience or want to share just from like competitive level?
I can talk about the level.
Just coach.
To complement what you were saying, I can give an example. We had one of the reasons why I decided to come here, right, to help push who wants to be pushed or to help make it feel at home who wants to stay. And we have a former player, Jasmine Jacquemone, is that her last name? Mm-hmm. We talk every day. She left me like a 5-minute WhatsApp message. I haven't heard it yet. Her dream was to play professional. She had played in Houston Dash with something that happened to the coach. You guys been watching the NEWSL. You can see there was a couple adjustments that the league is making to make sure that we are complying with everything as coaches. We have to be held accountable, and also athletes have to be held accountable. But she didn't have a good experience. She was on the verge of giving up. Then I remember when I got to the team last year, I was living in the house of the president. I remember the first thing he told me was, this girl, I think you can really help her because her dream is to go pro. I say, I want to help all of them. But her short-term dream was that. And she didn't have a good attitude. She was down. You could see that she didn't want to be there around us. But once we got everything organized, maybe the first week, we kept telling her, you're going to get it done. I called a former coach from Orlando Pride. She was the UCLA coach. I said, Amanda, I have a player that wants to try out. Would you give her a shot? She went to try out in Orlando Pride and stayed there for 2 weeks, but unfortunately the coach got fired. That did not stop her dream. I told her, just keep trusting, keep believing the process. She got a contract. I spoke with her agent. I talked to a coach in Fiorentina in Italy. I don't speak Italian, just Spanish, Portuguese, and English. But I did talk to the coach, Patricia, and she was just asking me how she played. I made her, I'm not gonna lie, I'm good selling. I made her look like she was supposed to be the starting left back in the US national team. Exaggerated a little bit, excitement. Well, not because of me, but because of her talents. It led her to keep believing her dream, and she's in Fiorentina right now. And she signed a 1-year contract. She's about to go to Australia. She's gonna get married and all of this. I don't know if I was supposed to tell you guys that. But, that's the level. Players that want to, it's limitless, how you say that word? Like limitless, I cannot say that with my accent. So there is no limit for this level. It is a good environment. I think one of the biggest purposes is we want to provide a good environment where you feel able and enabled to accomplish anything without judgment, without feeling left out. No microphone? Okay. Cool. not feeling not feeling left out. So this is the level. There's a variety of level.
You might have to push it in. Sometimes it's a little.
Of course, it's
the bottom. Yeah.
I love microphones. Please. Like this? Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna go quicker now. That the level is for committed players or players that, hey, coach, I gotta go to work. We worked like that all year last year, and they tied a game, and I was upset. We won a game, and I was upset. There was never comfortable. We were never like, oh, you guys are just great, don't need to work hard. Most of these ladies here work in the morning. They were 6:30 in the morning at practice, 7 o'clock in the morning. And one day, if they were able to make it, it was good enough for us because they were committed. You can tell who is committed and who is not. Who is just not coming because they want to take the summer off, and who wants the opportunity. So this is what we would like to provide for the players that still got it, that don't even know they have it. So that's the level that you guys can look for it. High quality, there's a final every game. I don't know if they remember, every day I say it was a final, right? Every day we played a final because we had bigger dreams. And I say they were going to change the history of women's soccer in Austin. And we have one of our girls here, center back, Hannah. Her and Rochelle, I kept bugging them in the summer, come coach at Pflugerville. And they're like, Pflugerville, this small club? Yes. Where people don't believe things can happen, they're making a huge difference in this club. And they are making a history along everybody in Austin. That's all we want to do for the level, for the dreams. So, yeah, the level.
Yeah, it's like y'all are reading my mind because these are setting up my next questions really perfectly. I definitely had one more that I want to ask, and then I also want to open it up to everybody. So once I ask this one, if you do have a question, just go ahead and raise your hand, and either Melissa or I will circulate. And I'm trying to stand in a place where I am not feeding back. Maybe it's back here. I don't know. So Rochelle, I wanted to start with you on this about just kind of this idea of paying it forward, teaching. And I'm asking Rochelle in part, it's kind of a personal question because I met her last year when she was coaching my then 4-year-old daughter at NASA and did a really great job with my daughter. Unfortunately, maybe over here, if I move here, it's better, maybe? Yeah. So basically, she taught my daughter, she did great. To my daughter's distress, she realizes now that soccer involves a lot of running, which is something that she does not like to do. So she's kind of on hiatus with soccer right now. But just want to ask about this idea of paying it forward, thinking about not only playing, for yourselves and inspiring each other, but also thinking about inspiring future generations of women players.
Yeah, I mean, I started coaching the youngsters, like the U4s, when I was in high school. So it's just kind of been part of me. And I get to be a stay-at-home mom right now, which I'm really thankful for. But it's like when you go to work and if you love what you do, it's not work. And that's how I feel every time I'm on the field, whether I'm playing or if I'm coaching. Like I was so sick being pregnant. I'd go to practice and it just like wasn't even a thought in my mind because when I'm there, it's just like my space and I'm happy and I'm doing what I love. So my passion's always been like those youngster grassroots soccer players. And I did a lot of co-ed stuff like with your daughter. And I've been really fortunate with Pflugerville FC that I get to kind of pick and choose what teams I do. So now I get 3 U7 and U8 girls teams. So that's one thing I said, I don't care where you put me, what day of the week, I'm coaching girls specifically. I just have been to so many clubs that there's a million dads coaching. No hate to dads, we need them. But there's like one female coach in the whole club. And does she even know what she's talking about on top of just being there? So I love that Pflugerville's had at least 3 here. We know that there's more, obviously. But they're picking women that know what they're talking about, that are getting their coaching licenses, just to help elevate them. If I want them to have a strong leader, then I need to put in the work and get my licenses and being able to coach them. So just, yeah, like I said before in the part, but having a space that I can provide them from the time that they're 4 until the time that they decide semi-pro's too much for them, and then they can go play co-ed or they can play women's leagues. Just being a part of that whole community in Austin is really important.
Awesome. Any questions from there? Okay, great. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Dina McMurrin. Erin is my niece. I have to get up there and say that. Bethany, brave Bethany, I salute you. I too, don't know a lot about soccer or anything like that, but I'm wondering how we can support you guys. Is it financially? Is it just coming to the games? Are you guys looking for sponsors? How can we make Austin Rice?
Always financially.
Is it always financially? Because,
I think that's a pretty fair response by Alyssa.
Okay, yeah.
yes.
So, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people would be like, okay, this is great. How do we make Austin Rise bigger? And if it's financial, that's great. I mean, if you ask me to get out there and, move stuff, I can't do that, but, and other ways also too, but right here in front of everybody, I want to commit to supporting Austin Rise financially.
Thank you so much.
Who's taking notes? Or someone write that down.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but I'm the former general manager for the 2nd division team here in Austin, the old Austin Aztecs and the old Austin Bold FC. And to complement to them, it is financial, it is important, but I tell you, there's so much more about that. Austin FC is as successful as it is because it was grassroots, because everybody talked to their neighbors and they engaged. La Morga was meeting every week to celebrate the team 3 years before the team existed, right? So this, what we're doing here today, this is a huge support for the goal that they have. But like Alicia said on the beginning, said, next time, if everybody here brings another person or another 2, now we have it 3 or 4 times more. And the next time we're going to see it all of a sudden, they're going to be having challenges on financing a new stadium so they can play, right? But it starts here, and I think it's much more than the financial side. But the financial today is what is going to help them go to the next level.
I am going to plug and say, I say always financial because, and this is something that I'm sure everyone gets, the Aztecs, the Bold, AFC, men's clubs, they have to fundraise. It's not as complicated for them. So yes, the community, all of these things that we're doing, everything to support them is important. Don't think that whatever you can do is insignificant. Whatever you can do is significant. Showing up today, showing up to their first game, making a sign, whatever. But honestly, as someone who's helping them fundraise, fundraising for women's sports is actually not easy. You would think that people want to just throw all their money at us, but they don't. So if you do know someone who has some money, or you do know a company, or you own a company, and it is something that you can help right now, the financial support is what's going to get them on the field, because they can't just bankroll it themselves. The co-ed league can help, but the community needs to help. So Roberto is always correct. He is never wrong. The community support is hugely important, but right now, if you have any of that, if it's in-kind support, if it's anything, that is going to be hugely helpful. And then obviously showing up to all the games and supporting them is hugely helpful.
Yeah, and 2 quick things you could do right now is there is a merch table over here with Rise FC gear. I have a new shirt, thanks to them. So you can go ahead and support them that way. And then also that little subscribe button right there at the striker. If you put Rise FC in there, you'll not only get a subscription to the publication that I feel very strongly about as a soccer publication covering Austin Rise FC and Austin FC and a bunch of other teams here, but also not only do you get a 10% discount on that, 40% of that goes to the Rise directly. So that's 2 quick ways that you can help. And we have a question over here, so go ahead.
Do you mind if I actually just reply to that, to the last question, though? So thank you so much for the question, and Alyssa, Phil, Roberto. Absolutely financially, but there are so many different ways to help us. And one of the neatest things about there being 6 founders is that we all have a very different background. So it's worked out well. Some of us are good with numbers. Some of us are good with people. Some of us are good with project managing. And so no matter what your background is here, you very likely have something that you could provide in some sort of form, whether it's needing assistance with photography, videography, to a ticket booth at our games. But absolutely, just being at events like this, I mean, the turnout here is remarkable. I mean, like, my heart is very full to have an event like this the first time in public, and tying it back to the pit forward as well. Part of our mission is to be a community-driven and oriented team. So the relationships that we're building with the Striker, with Austin Coed, with Hopsquad, with the Mighty Ducks, whole franchise from Austin Coed, to Los Verdes, to La Murga, we don't want any of these relationships to be one-sided. And we want to be able to give back to those groups, as well as other communities throughout all of Austin. So if you are interested in helping some way, feel free to just write us an email after this event at austinrisefc@gmail.com.
Hi, my name's Becca Rigby. I've had the joy of playing with Bethany and Katie, which just makes me feel cool. I'm not going to lie. Much like Alyssa, I didn't know that they were semi-pro till much after the fact, and now it makes sense. Now it makes sense because I'm like, damn, these girls are good. So my question is, you've all touched on this in a number of ways, but I'd love to hear maybe even a specific moment if you're willing to share, like when you encountered a barrier, and how did you remain resilient in that moment? What were you able to do to keep going forward and solve that?
I mean, I can go first. Yeah, like for me, my barrier is, when I stayed at school to get my MBA, but then I decided later on that I maybe potentially wanted to play pro soccer, was the fact that for me, I was hearing, oh, well, what's this 2-year gap? That's with anything. People always say, oh, what's this 2-year gap in your resume? What's this about? And so that was something for me of people like questioning, like, why are you doing it this way? Like, why didn't you do this and that? So I guess my barrier for me was just if you decide to do something else for a little bit or take a different route, people are gonna, question why you do certain things, and and so my counteract to that is there's always one person I feel like that does believe in you, or that do want to help you. So even though there's like a million no's, there's always that one yes, that somebody will take a chance on you. And so that's kind of what I want to do, is if somebody comes up and says, hey, like, I've been wanting to play pro, unfortunately I've had like 6 people say no, then I can say, hey, why don't you come here, play for us for a year, and then Lessa will coach you up, and then she'll take you to anywhere you want to go. So that's kind of like yeah, so what is it, Norway, China, Brazil, anywhere you want to go. So yeah,
I can speak to that one a little bit too. I think a personal barrier for me was I didn't enter semi-pro until I was 31, not seriously at least. And so that was probably the thing I was most nervous about, was I'm on the older end of the spectrum for soccer. And so coming in at 31, I was like, shit, can I run? Can I hang with these girls? And to be honest, when I got there day one, the answer was no. And that was scary as hell, because I was like, damn, like, this sucks. But for me, it was just like, just keep showing up. Just keep showing up, put in the work, do it every day, and the rest will follow. And, it gets better every day. But it's hard. So I guess, like, you just have to tell yourself, like, just keep showing up. And, like, there's a lot of pieces in my game that I still want to work on, but I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I can do. So that's just, like, what keeps me going. It's just like, all right, just keep showing up every single day. Just keep showing up. And then I have to give a shout out to my wife, Abby, as well, who's here. It's always great to have a great support system, and she is very much that for me. So yeah, having a support system, having someone that believes in you is key. But for yourself, if you just have yourself, like, just keep showing up, because you're always going to get better if you keep showing up.
Awesome. All right. We're about a half hour from kickoff. They certainly know this back there, y'all in the room, wearing your gear. Any last questions from anybody for them before I ask kind of the one I think question maybe that's obviously in everybody's mind? Okay, I'll bring this over here for you.
Hello, Aaron. Hello, everyone. A quick question, or two actually. The first is, where do you guys currently plan on playing? And secondly, if any of you can speak on how roster building has been going, where you're scouting that talent, where they're trying out, and how that decision process is made. Thank you.
Yeah, great question. Aaron, do you want to talk about the scouting?
Hey, Spencer, that was a great question. After this, no more questions from my group that's here, whatever. So to answer your first question, there's a couple places that we want to play. One thing that we also are trying to do as well is that we kind of want to like counteract the Austin FC games, because I know you guys are so. People in the back, that's Sam, that's Spencer, and that's Sean, and they work for, Austin FC, and they came out here to support me, so, shout out to them. But we also want to also, counteract their games too. We want to be able to do support men's soccer, but then also too, when people have time, they also want to support women's soccer as well. So we are waiting to get some of these scheduling back for some of the Austin FC teams and their academy teams and stuff like that. Hopefully, well, I don't know if I want to say this like on the record, but we can say, okay, we want to play at the pitch. That's where we want to play. I've been there. It's great. The field is awesome. There's drinks and there's food there too. So that's somewhere we definitely want to play there. One thing is we want to be a premier high-class semi-pro team, and we want to play at a great facility. So hopefully we can get that done. And then to answer your second question, we do have tryouts coming up March 26th. And so we've gotten a bunch of messages from previous players that have played with us and people also coming in. Jalissa, I'll give you a shout out. We have Jalissa here, and she actually played at Mizzou after my time, and then now is played at SMU. But we just want anyone that's from Texas that want to come and try out. We've got a lot of messages from people even outside of Texas that want to come. So. We're still a month away, but we have a pretty good pool of players that want to play with us. So it's going to be competitive, and we're also trying to not have like an age range as well. If there's like a homegrown kid that's 14, 15 that wants to grow and play with us, or if we have some people in their 30s that want to play with us, that's also good too. So. Yeah, shout out to my old people here, I guess. Like, I mean, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah.
All right, just before we wrap up so we can celebrate other amazing women's soccer at 2:30, I wanted to give a shout out to Equality Texas, who came out here today. For those of you who don't know, it's the largest LGBTQA advocacy group in Texas, and they are here. They're here because they support Austin Rise FC. They're here because Bethany and Tess and I sit on their steering committee for Austin, and just want to make sure that they are involved with all of these awesome inclusive organizations, because Austin Rise FC is dedicated, if you've been to their website, to being incredibly inclusive and community-centric. So thank you so much, Equality Texas, for taking your time to come out today. So please go by and talk to them. There's a lot going on. I don't know if you know, but LGBTQA folks in Texas are under attack. And it's important for all of us to show our support and help make sure that everybody who lives in Texas has the equal rights and opportunities. So I wanted to give that shout out. I also want to just give a quick shout out to everyone in the room from the Co-Ed League who came out to support, some of them later than others. We are in support of women's soccer, even though we are a co-ed league, because women's sports elevates all sports. It only makes our organization stronger. So on behalf of the co-ed league, thank you so much for coming out and supporting 6 of my favorite people, one of my favorite organizations, and thank you to the striker who, since the other club that we don't say the name of, since even before the dissolution of that club, the striker has been in support of these women the entire time, because it's important for us to believe women, and they did. And so a huge part of why we're able to be where we are is because of these amazing people that are here and the rest of their organization. So thank you so much for always being supportive of them.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alyssa. That's really nice to say. I really appreciate that. Want to give a quick shout out, of course, to our host, Hopsquad Brewing. One of my favorite places to be in the world. Not only are they letting me sell the rest of my daughter's Girl Scout cookies? I have several Girl Scout cookies left. If anybody wants them, they also bought 3 boxes when I asked them. So that's awesome. And then just real quick, again, reminder, if you subscribe with Rise FC, you'll get the latest news on Rise FC as we get that, and that donation will also help there. So in addition to reading The Striker, how do people, just real quick, get all the skinny on y'all as we prepare for the start of the season?
How can they find us on socials, Katie?
So we're on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Austin Rise FC. That's where you'll see like the most announcements and whatnot. We also have a website, austinrisefc.com. And then if you ever want to email us or just get in contact, austinrisefc@gmail.com. So lots of channels.
Yeah,
But-
Palmer Field would be great
Yeah.
next to the pitch, but wherever
yeah.
it is, we'll, as soon as y'all know, let us know. We'll
Sure.
let
We will,
everybody know.
definitely.
Awesome. All right, well, thanks so much for coming out. We are now T-minus 26 minutes to watching the U.S. team, so by all means, get some more drinks, get some merch, get some Girl Scout cookies if you want. And then thanks so much for being here. And also check out Quality Texas and see how you can help with that good cause. Thanks.